didn't throw my curveball too much with the Rays because I was just strictly just trying to work on being in the zone more, and
Hmm.
I valued my other fastballs and then my sweeper as like my top three. So I just wanted to get better at throwing those in the zone. So that's kind of where we leaned. But no, I mean, I can throw 7 pitches, I think.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started.
Welcome into another edition of the Locked On Rays podcast. And Ulises, today we have a very special guest joining us. That is Brody Hopkins, who is one of the Tampa Bay Rays' top prospects in the organization and recently acquired by the Rays around the trade deadline or so in a pretty momentous deal. You were part of the Randy deal, correct?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, that's got to be something special. So we're going to get into all that, but Ulises, you want to take the floor here?
Yes, let's do a little bit of a Quentin Tarantino. Let's start with 2024, and then we'll flip it back to early memories. Obviously, a roller coaster of a year. You start playing pro ball. You're in the Seattle Mariners system. Everything's going really well, and then pretty big name gets traded, and you get the call. Walk us through who notifies you, where were you, all of those things.
All right. Well, it was the first week back, the first week series back from All-Star break, and we were playing in San Jose. I throw on Wednesday, so after I got done throwing on Wednesday,
Mm-hmm.
get to the field Thursday. I called my agent because we had been talking to, like, because obviously trade deadline was coming up. I didn't know. I was just just asking a question like, hey, like, you think anything? He's like, no, like we're like no, from no, like there's nothing going on. He was like, all right. I was like, okay, sounds good. Um, get done with the game Thursday. Headed back to the hotel. I get a call from Zach Vinci, our manager, for the Modesto Nuts, and he's like, "Hey man, I need you to come back to the field." I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Why? What's going on?" And he goes, "You just got traded to the Tampa Bay Rays." And I was like, are you messing with me? Like, what's going on? He was like, "No, I'm not messing with you. You got to come back." So yeah, I turned my car around, went back to the field. On the way back to the field, I called my mom, called my dad. Uh, my mom and brother were luckily together at the time, so I told them, then told my dad. Uh, yeah, I mean that was pretty much it. It was kind of a roller coaster overnight. Uh, but yeah, it was crazy.
Something we don't usually get information wise is the human side of being traded.
Yeah.
Kevin and I, and multiple people that are going to listen to this, our jobs are not like that. We don't just get told, hey, you're just got settled to the other part of the country. So we
Yeah.
don't understand that minutia. So what about like flights? Do you have a lease? What happens with all the real human stuff? Like how did you handle all of that?
Well, lease, no, they housing's paid for us, so like I don't got to worry about any of that. But
Okay.
flights is basically, I mean, um, it was crazy because Aiden Smith and I are on the same team. We got traded together. Um, we had to drive back to Modesto, get our stuff from Modesto out of the apartments, like basically clean our rooms, all that, get all of our stuff, drive back to San Jose. Or well, we had to Uber back to San Jose because we were shipping our cars from Modesto to I was going to Bowling Green, he was going to Charleston, so we shipped our cars there.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, you just get that call, and then basically you get in touch with the new team's player development guy or some sort like that. I think that's who did it for me, and then he was just
Mhm.
basically like, "Hey, would you rather fly out tonight or tomorrow?" And so basically got to decide like if you want to leave right now or give yourself a little bit of time to make sure you got everything.
Nice. Now, touching on that a little bit, and I know just playing in two different organizations, what that can be like. We've heard from some other players over the years, but for you, what was some of the differences and or similarities between the Mariners organization and the Rays organization, just how they go about their business and so forth?
To be honest, like it's kind of like they're similar in a lot of ways. Like both organizations are very high and amongst like all the prospects and everything that we have like in both organizations. So to me, I kind of looked at it more of like as like a blessing that I learned. I mean, I was only with the Mariners for half of a year, almost a full year, but I mean, I learned as much as I could there, and then I also get to the Tampa Bay, another great organization. I'm learning more here, so I get to put those two stuff together. Like they both love homegrown pitchers. I mean, I'm not a homegrown pitcher
Yeah.
anymore, but like they both like thrive off of that, and I kind of like that. I like to see that. So I'm just, putting both together and working at both.
You mentioned exactly where I was going to. Mariners and Rays, obviously known for their pitching factory ways that they do that. You being a young pitcher, does that give you kind of an ego boost going from, hey, I'm drafted by an organization that likes to, that is really good at, developing pitchers, and then I'm traded to another one that has a really good reputation for that? Does that do anything for the ego, for the confidence when you're on the mound?
Oh yeah, and that was like some conversations that I had right away with like my brother and my agent. It was just like, dude, I got to learn so much from the Mariners in a short period of time, but it's like I can take that and what worked for me then and then put it together with what the Rays are teaching me now and just make it even better. And so like I will take my odds with that.
Yeah. And speaking of that, what are some of the things that the Rays are teaching you as far as when you get to the organization, you get to the club, and they're like, okay, this is what we like about your game. This is what we want you to work on going forward, and working with the coaches and some of the development staff and so on. So what did they kind of give you a little bit of a pep talk and a rundown of, hey, this is what we want you to focus on the rest of the season, going into the off season and so forth?
Really, what I liked the most was between the Mariners and the Rays. They both kind of allowed me to just be an athlete. And so there was never really any like mechanical things that they told me to tweak. Like I have just like a funky, weird delivery as it is. So they didn't really want to mess with that. But no, I mean, when I got to the Rays, they were like, hey, we just want you to keep doing what you're doing. If we see anything, we'll let you know. And I mean, I had a problem of leaking falling down the mound, and I was able to talk with our pitching coach in Bowling Green with the Rays, and he told me to stay more stacked, so I did, and it allowed me to be in the zone more. So
Well, you know what? Let's get to the nitty gritty because we've already touched it. The delivery is very peculiar. 3/4 arm action. I've read in different publications that your repertoire has changed. You've obviously got the four seam, you've got the sinker, you got the sweeper, the curveball, the changeup, the cutter. It's the whole kitchen sink. Is that still how you have your repertoire set up right now, or has a pitch in there kind of gone the wayside?
I mean, for the most part, it's still the same. I mean, I didn't throw my curveball too much with the Rays because I was just strictly just trying to work on being in the zone more, and I valued my other fastballs and then my sweeper as like my top three. So I just wanted to get better at throwing those in the zone. So that's kind of where we leaned. But no, I mean, I can throw 7 pitches, I think, at a pretty like high level. But I mean, I don't think once I make it my debut, I'm not going to have 7 pitches. But
Right. Yeah. I mean, well, remember Daisuke Matsusaka? I think when he came over, he had like 11. It was ridiculous. Darvish as well. It was pretty neat. Now,
yeah, I've heard stories about Darvish about like how because like one of my buddies, actually Dylan Lesko, he was telling me about a game that Darvish was rehabbing, and like how like the catcher he didn't have pitch comm, so the catchers had to do like some weird signals for his like 7th, 8th pitch. It's crazy.
Yeah. Do you miss that? Do you miss having a catcher in front of you wag you the fingers?
Well, we still do, and
You still do?
and
Okay.
yeah, and high A we still had it. I don't know. I think AAA and the majors are the only ones that have pitch comm. I think AA is getting it this year, but I'm not 100% sure.
Nothing delivers comfort and joy quite like the unrivaled quality and taste of Omaha Steaks. This year, skip the holiday hustle and bustle and save 50% off site-wide during their cyber sale at omahasteaks.com. Plus, get a $30 reward card when you shop early and score an extra $30 off with promo code MLB. With 5 generations of experience, Omaha Steaks consistently delivers the world's best steak experience, and their gifting experts have made it easy to deliver the perfect gift with thoughtfully curated gift packages starting at $89.99. From legendary steaks to mouth-watering desserts and more, save 50% off site-wide during the Cyber Sale at omahasteaks.com. Plus, our listeners get an extra $30 off with promo code MLB and a $30 reward card when you shop early. That's 50% off at omahasteaks.com and an extra $30 off with promo code MLB. Minimum purchase may apply. Now, you touched on it a little bit, your athleticism. We have heard so much, especially when you came to the Rays and we read up on you of this guy is just a natural athlete. He's got it all. Where does that come from? Is that good genetics? Is that certain sports you played growing up? A little bit of work ethic, a little bit of this and that? Just where do you kind of blame your pure athleticism on?
Genetics, I
Yeah.
think. I mean, my brother was a very athletic guy, but then, like, I don't know, I just came along and was more athletic and taller and everything. So it was just like, I don't know, it was just genetics, I guess. I mean, from a young age, I was able to play all sports at a
Mhm.
high level at my age. So, I was scared of a weight room when I was in high school. So I wasn't from working hard in the weight room, but just pure luck, I guess.
Now, we definitely know that you played football, obviously baseball. Were there any other sports growing up that kind of caught your attention?
I played church basketball growing
Okay.
up. I never played like organized regular basketball. We played church basketball.
And which of the three do you think you were the best in? I mean, was it always baseball the front runner?
No, football.
Football. Okay.
Everybody tells me that too. They told me that. They tell me that I'm a better football player, but then I say that there's more money in baseball. So,
Yeah, what kind of led that to that decision of putting the pigskin down and focusing, entirely on baseball? I'm sure the money and then, injuries can be a big concern as well, and the game of football, concussions and everything.
football was never an option.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was baseball since I was born, basically. I committed when I think my sophomore year of high school, and I didn't really know I was that good at football until my junior year of high school, and then I never really took football serious either. So, but I've been told that I was better at football.
Wow. And what position were you playing, or multiple positions?
I was playing wide receiver.
Okay. Yeah, pretty good size for a wide receiver. What are
Yeah.
you now? 6'4", 200, give or take, something like
Yeah,
that?
like 6'4", 210.
Not bad. Not bad. Now, you mentioned, so your brother, he's played in the majors, pro ball player, and a little bit older. Did he give you any advice along the way, like him being able to experience being a pro baseball player? Do you think that's helped you as far as, hey, here's some things you need to really hunker down on when you make it to the show, or you make it to the next step of where you're getting a paycheck to play the game?
Oh yeah, since I've been asking him questions since he's been drafted, but like more recently, it's came up more because like I wanted to know these answers because it was about to happen to me. Like during the draft, he helped me a lot just to not really focus on where my name was called, but
Mhm.
just like when I hear it, just go basically. And as far as like actually being in pro ball, he's just taught me that it's going to be hard. Like it's long years. You're home 3 months out of the year, so and especially being a
Yeah.
pitcher, you go even earlier. So it's like he's just like you got to get used to being alone, being on the road, all that. And I was like, yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
When you mentioned the draft, were you surprised by who drafted you when you were drafted? I think two of the coolest stories you can hear from ball players are their draft memories and when they get called up to the show. So give us that day. Walk us through that draft day. How did you live it?
We were at my uncle's house, but he lives kind of like in the country. I had like my close friends and family there. We were scared the whole day, basically because of Wi-Fi. We didn't know if we were going to have Wi-Fi or not.
Okay.
And but no, just going through the day was kind of nerve wracking, and I didn't know where I was gonna go. I knew a range. My range was like from the third to the eighth round, kind of a big
Mhm.
range. So it's like, okay, I'm just sitting there early day two, just waiting. I get one call from my agent. He's like, "Hey, do you want to do this?" I'm like, "No, I think we can hold off, wait a little bit more." And he was like, "I agree. Just want to see where your head's at." And then he texted me, and it was like the sixth round, and he was just like, "Hey, Mariners are calling. Like, I think this is good. I think we should do this." And I was like, "Okay, let's do it." And then, yeah, it was really, I think I walked outside when I got the text message. I was just around my friends because, like, it was obviously like, very nerve wracking. I was just trying
Yeah.
to not be so nervous and freaking out. And I was just outside hanging out with my friends. My agent texts me, and I walk outside. And as I walk outside, like, everybody's out there, they look at me, and I kind of like look over to my left, and my dad is just right there. And he looks at me, and he like his eyes kind of like start getting all teary eyed. And I
Mhm.
was like, all right, here we go. And
Yeah.
then so yeah, that was pretty much. And then I mean after that was fun, but that moment was kind of sick to be able to look at my dad, and then especially because my brother was there too. He was able to get off for the All-Star break and then come home. Got to be
Mhm.
there, and it's just like my parents raised us both like in a really good way, and we both made it pretty much. Well, he's already made it to the big leagues, but
Yeah.
we both got drafted, so I think that's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers can bet just $5, people, just $5, and you get 150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of a game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
So did you have the option to return back to school?
Yeah, I still
Okay.
have one more year.
So it was kind of a matter of, hey, the Mariners are offering this amount of money. I think it's time to make the move to pro ball. There's nothing really left to
I
prove.
mean, I mean, I was probably going anyways,
Yeah.
but yeah, pretty much.
Okay. I gotcha.
In college, what were you studying?
Sociology, I
Okay.
think.
He was studying baseball. That's what he was studying.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's exactly why I wasn't going to
Yeah.
come back.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
So when the Mariners drafted you, did they have any conversations of, hey, we want to try to make you a two-way player like you were in college, or it's,
Oh,
hey,
no.
we drafted you to be a pitcher and that's about it?
Yeah. No, it was kind of, I knew my last game at Winthrop in the conference tournament. I knew that that was my last at bat
Mm.
because I was just like, I figured that I was just going to be a
Mhm.
pitcher in pro ball. But no, there's never been any like, hey, you thought about it? And no, I don't think about it. I watch these guys now throwing what they throw, no chance.
It's crazy.
You were, from what I could find out, you switched to being a pitcher pretty late in your career, and you have that unique delivery, the three-quarter action, and you're a pretty tall guy at 6'4". Is that just how it felt normal to you to deliver the pitch? Did somebody say, hey, maybe this is going to be good for you? Like, how did you develop that way of pitching?
I think it was just natural. I don't
Mhm.
know. I didn't really start pitching until my like junior year of college, and like up until like when I was like 14 to 16, like those 2 3 years I was throwing submarine. Like I wasn't even
Wow.
like when
Oh,
when I
wow.
would pitch in like travel ball, I would be throwing submarine. So I think that there was a part of it where it was like I was throwing there for so much, where it was like, and I played third base when I was younger, so like I would throw from down there to first
Hmm.
base, yeah, and
Mhm.
everything. So I think that's what made it more natural. But like I don't know, like I just kind of stuck with it.
So, yeah, I just wanted to interject here. So, what led to the decision of taking pitching more seriously, and and really taking it up a peg in college? Was it like the coaching staff of, hey, we're short on pitchers this year, anybody want to give it a shot? Or was that something you always wanted to, hey, let me try this, I think I could be pretty good at it?
Well, I mean, I committed to college of Charleston as a two-way. So like
Okay.
my initial thought going in was I was going to do that. But my freshman fall, I didn't throw like any bullpens or anything. And then obviously freshman spring, I didn't throw at all. And then I threw freshman summer, came back sophomore year, sophomore fall. I was throwing in bullpens, throwing in lives, and I was like 96, 98. It's like, holy, I was like, where did this come from? Like, and then I threw 2 innings on the year. So I was just like, I realized after that, I was like, my only chance is pitching. So I'm going to go somewhere where I know I'll get opportunities to pitch. And so I got connected with the pitching coach at Winthrop. And to this day, I will say he's the reason that I got drafted and everything happened for a good reason. He's my guy, Austin Hill. That's my guy for sure. But yeah, that's pretty much all it was.